Hello there, welcome to the Limping Helpers podcast. My name is T and I remain your host. Today I'm going to be talking to an amazing person. Her name is Rachel, and we're just going to be talking about her interesting story. She has a really interesting story that I believe everyone's going to have fun with. Just to give you a story, info about her. She is an author, she is a speaker, she is an ambassador. I love that word. She is an ambassador of Christ. And interestingly, she is a survivor. So basically, she had to survive a brain tumor to even get an idea for something really great. And I can't wait for you guys to really get into it. So it's just amazing to see how far she has come. So hello, Rachel. Welcome to the Limping Helpers podcast. I wish I could just give
Hello.
a huge round of applause and everything going on here. I wish I
Thank
could just
you.
see but just imagine that in your head, that's
Yeah,
going on in your head. Just imagine that's going.
thank you.
So
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
So welcome, and just before we go right off the bat, I want to know if you're my friend or I'm just gonna put your name in a different list. Are you a tea or a coffee person?
So I'm a little bit of both, but I
Hmm.
really kind of
Okay.
go coffee. But I really like coffee so much that I drink it
Yeah.
without sugar, cream,
Oh
anything. I
yeah.
drink it
That's the
plain
best
black.
way.
Yes.
That's the best way.
So where's my
If you're
name
taking
go?
it with it goes in the good list. It goes in the good
Okay,
list. You've
good.
done okay. Just because you said when you said half and half, I was like, but then you said you take it without sugar and milk, and I'm like, okay, yes, that's my people. That's my person. That's yeah, yeah.
Hey,
So we're good now.
good to know.
Okay. So just to jump right into with all the fun we're having now. So basically, you have a story that I find interesting, and it has to do with your experience with brain tumor
Hmm.
and how you literally grew from that.
Hmm.
So I would like you to talk to me about what that is like. What was that about? Or what's that really like?
Okay. Well, first, thank you so much for having me on here today, T. I am so
Yeah,
excited to share. And to start
welcome,
off my
welcome.
story, I do want to say that I grew up as a Christian. I really like to
Okay.
say that I was saved before I was born because my parents raised me in church, even though I know that's not possible. But my mom had me registered or participating in any and everything you can think of related to Christianity. I was in
Oh wow.
Awana. I went to a Christian private school. I went to a vacation Bible school. I even went to
Wow.
Christian summer camp. And what I was going
Wow.
to tell
Okay.
you when you said, imagine the huge applause in that Christian camp, it's called KAA Kids Across America. We would do a
Okay.
round of applause like this in a circle, clap, and then go in a circle, round of applause. But nothing brought me closer to Jesus, a real relationship with Jesus, until I passed
Yeah.
out with that grade 3 brain tumor on my pineal gland.
Wow.
And
Wow.
then I
Wow.
went through radiation, brain surgery, radiation,
Wow.
chemo, and I was bald twice. One of my brothers is a
Wow.
photographer, and he got this picture when
Oh
my hair
my.
was growing back a little bit. Yeah.
Wow, wow. It looks good now, but I can imagine that the experience is not as it wasn't funny at that time. The experience wasn't funny, but the picture looks really good. I'm not gonna lie, it looks good.
He did a good job. Thank you.
Oh yeah, definitely. So through all that, I'm just thinking, resilience, the amount of
Hmm.
resilience you have to, you have to want to live so much. You have to rely on God so much. And I know we have talked about this in earlier conversations about self-worth and
Hmm.
resilience. And just looking at that, I'm like, how were you able to survive that? Like, what was the mindset behind that? You know, we are Christians and things happen to us, and it says, "Oh, give thanks in all things." I can
Hmm.
imagine, giving thanks in such a situation would not be the first thing that would probably pop up in your head. So, what was the reaction? Walk me through the emotions that was, throughout the whole experience.
So the first emotion, first and foremost, is when I passed out. So I, at the time, was the showroom manager of a
Yeah.
company that encouraged and helped young girls establish what they wanted to do in life in regards
Mm,
to fitness and sports and everything. So I would teach
Okay.
dance classes to young girls. So I'm a
Okay.
little bit of a
Okay.
fitness fanatic. Yes, I'm a certified Zumba instructor. Yes, yes, yeah. Okay, that's not really Zumba, but I like it. But
And
yes,
it's just moving for me.
yeah. So I was confused because I am kind of a health nut, really. So for me to
Yeah.
pass out in the garage across the street from the showroom before I was going to teach this dance
Oh,
class, I was really just confused. So I was just
wow.
confused, and I really didn't have time to get my feet on the ground and really worry about anything because God took over. When I passed
Oh,
out, I heard him say, "I've got this. Watch me work." And he
oh,
did. I swear,
okay.
even to this
Okay.
day, he is just like a million steps ahead of me in everything that I
Wow.
think or try to do. He
Mhm.
covered all of my bills with this. My
Oh,
uncle
yeah.
covered my extra finances that I had going on. The job at the time covered my initial medical bills because
Wow.
they grouped
Wow.
together and started a U carrying account for me, which covered all those bills. And then my uncle took the extra. And then I never received a bill from the brain surgery. I never received a
Wow.
bill from radiation, never received
Wow.
a bill from chemo. And I got approved for Social Security on my first application. And I hear that really never happens. And then
Wow.
after
Okay.
Social Security cut off in the middle of COVID, but that's a different story for a
Yeah.
different day, he just started
Definitely.
working things out. And that's when Early Mornings with a Dose of Jesus and things started. But you asked about my resilience and those steps. And the steps that I took to regain my self worth and my real identity in Christ are in the book
Yeah.
that I was blessed to write and publish in 2018
Oh, yeah.
called Ladies as
Yeah.
We Love Ourselves. It's a 6-step
Wow.
program to self worth. And those
Oh,
steps are turn to God, which is my first step in anything. I had to turn to God. And then I had to forgive myself, forgive others, and really look in the mirror at myself
yeah.
for who I
Yeah.
was and not what I was going
Wow.
through. And then I had
Wow.
to know who I was again. So forgive and then know who I am. And then I created affirmations for myself, which I still do today. I change them
Mm.
around a little bit, but I do affirmations every morning while I look myself in the mirror. And then
Mirror.
5, I encourage and help others. It makes me feel
Wow.
better to help others feel better. And so that's what I
Yeah.
did. And 6 and last, but one of my favorite steps. The first and the sixth step are my favorite, but all of them
Favorite.
are equally important, is
Yeah.
exercise. You
Okay.
already know I'm
Okay.
a fitness fanatic, so
Now
exercising
you're
really
shaking
helps.
some tables.
Yeah.
For those of us who just enjoy doing some exercises, maybe in our chairs or on our beds, now that's not really the fun place to be now.
Well, you can
But
just do something small. Like, in the book, I just say, start off small, like, 10 or 20 minutes of walking, just a little bit.
yeah,
Inch
I mean,
yourself into it.
I would like to say I would like to think I do that every day when I walk to the bus station and back. So,
Okay.
I'm just
That might
joking
be.
anyway. But just talking about it now, I was because I was reading about the whole the effects of brain tumors on you as a person, and
Mhm.
I was reading, and it was talking about things like personality changes,
Mhm.
effects on the body and things like that. So I'm like, how were you able to find God in all that? Because like I said the first time, I said it's easy for you to say give thanks in all things when it's not your problem,
Mhm.
but when it's your problem, then you know how hard it can be to say give thanks or to even give thanks. So how are you able to say, okay, I can still find God's place in the whole of this situation? Because yeah, sometimes it can be hard to actually see. It takes someone else to literally tell you, hey, don't forget who you are. Sometimes it takes
Mhm.
like, so how were you able to find God in that if I keep rumbling on?
No, you're fine. I love how you said who you are, but whose I
Yeah.
am really was very
Mm, mm,
prevalent during that time.
mm,
The Lord
mm,
surrounded me with so much love, so many friends and family. It just was undeniable how okay I
wow.
was. And I did
Mm,
take the time to think of any and everything I could to be thankful for. There was
mm,
so much laid ahead of me to be thankful for. So I did my best to thank God for what He was blessing me with and not focusing on the negative and what I was really going
mm,
through.
mm,
It was
mm.
hard to
Wow.
look at what I was going through because He was blessing me so much with covering all the bills and never receiving a bill or not having anything to worry about, and like just
Yeah.
literally walking through basically unscathed. Yes, I was bald. I pulled out all of my hair. It didn't fall out. I pulled
Wow.
it out because it was
Oh, what?
hurting. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was hurting, and me and a
Okay.
friend were sitting on the couch, and like I started running my hands through my hair, and it just started coming out in
Coming
chunks, and
up.
so I just
Wow.
kept pulling it out, and it was like this, and now I'm fully restored. Thank you, Jesus.
Ish.
Like,
Hey.
yeah. So
There
it's
is.
I don't know.
Wow. And
It blows
it's
my
looking
mind.
good anyway. It looks like that you never had a moment where you had no hair anyway. So that's wonderful. And
Yes. I'll take it.
well, the thing now is this. You're going through all this, all these emotions, all this pain, and chemo, and what have you, the surgery and everything. How does one find an idea in all that pain? Because sometimes you can literally see it as just having like a smack in the face while going through something else. Because I don't imagine. Well, I haven't had the best of ideas, in situations. It's probably when I'm past that situation those ideas come. But to have them while going through that same motion is like, okay, no, that's a big one. So what was that like? How did that even happen? What was the situations, the events? Please tell us a story. I want to really, because this is really interesting to me. Like, all through the whole of that event, or the subsequent events that happened, how did that idea of starting a business, of empowering other people, come around? How did that come around?
So, first and foremost, I love how you elaborated on that, because when you said I don't have ideas, I was going to say, says the podcaster, says the guy
Yeah,
who
well,
has
we
this
thank God
going on.
everywhere.
Yes. But I'm glad you elaborated. So, first and foremost, all I can say is Jesus. But I really feel like God set me up for this before the brain
Wow.
tumor. Like,
Mm,
of course, God has a plan. I was just walking into it and I didn't realize it, because I was planning
yeah.
to move to California. I was like, Rachel's
Okay.
up and out.
Big
Uh,
time. Big
yes,
time.
time to blow this joint. No, okay, just kidding. But I was really planning to move to California, and I was trying to do things on my own terms, and I was trying to do things that made Rachel happy before the brain
Mm,
tumor hit. And I really
mm,
feel like God physically had to break me to help me and get me on the path that He wanted me to get on, or be on, should
mm,
I say. And so, up before I started running the showroom, I was in corporate. And so, those experiences and what I learned there is that I did not belong in corporate, which is also in the
yeah.
Ladies as We Love Ourselves book. And
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
side note, it's titled Ladies as We Love Ourselves, but both of my brothers and all of my friends' husbands who have the book, because my friends' husbands read the book, they all say this is
Yeah.
not gender specific. So, fellas, you definitely can go get the book. Just wanted to put that out
You
there.
got you got off lucky. You got off really lucky and fast. Because I was gonna come at you and say, "Hey, how about the guys?" I was
Yes,
gonna
yes,
say,
yes, yes.
"How about the guys?" But you're safe now. You're safe now. You
Yeah.
can get on with your story.
Yes. So, I feel like what God taught me in corporate and the other jobs that I had led into the retail position that I had of running the showroom. And in the showroom position, I started as an assistant manager of the showroom, and then I was
Okay.
promoted to showroom manager. So I was
Okay.
running the
So
business. And the
business
company is a
basically.
Canadian company, and they really make you run the showroom like it's your company. Like, I was doing profit
Wow.
and loss statements, I was hiring and firing people, I was like doing
Wow.
all the plans and the budgeting for it. Like, I did it all. And so I
Proper.
believe God
Proper.
was setting me up to run a business before I
Mm,
started doing this business,
your
and I should
own.
have
Yeah.
paid more attention. Also, in this company, like, for real, I should have paid more attention. Also, in the company, they before I took over the showroom, I was led in many, many studies or workbooks and workshops on what I specifically wanted to do. They made you
Yeah.
come up with a vision for your life. They wanted to know what
Wow.
you wanted to do. So I had already written all of this out, and then I
That
had
would
the
be.
brain tumor. And so it's just like walking into what God had already given me. And I had
Oh
no
my.
idea it was coming. And
That's
then,
that's
okay, go ahead.
yeah. No, you can go on. I
Okay,
feel
okay.
like
Well,
there's more
last
to it.
little bit. When
Yeah.
I was rehabilitating during the chemo and the radiation period and everything, I had a dream of me in a play dancing on stage. And I knew
Wow.
then that God wanted me to write plays. And I have
Oh,
two
okay.
done. I'm in the middle of the third, and I need to finish them
Oh, okay.
prayerfully this year because that was the
Oh my
real
gosh,
thing. And
nice.
that's what all started everything. I was writing the
Oh,
plays, and then the book came out of nowhere, and now we got EMDJ, and I'm getting my speaking career going. But I need to get back to those plays. I need to finish those
yeah,
plays.
definitely. Like a lot of things are now going on in your life other than just working in the corporate world. Because I was going to ask you what life was before the brain tumor, because obviously there's like a whole change in how you see even life now. Because then you just had one focus, basically the corporate world, climbing up
Yeah.
the corporate ladder, and
Hmm,
just
hmm.
living your life, just enjoying life, literally, like going to California. I imagine
Hmm.
you're going to be having fun in terms of seeing places, meeting people, growing basically. And then the tumor comes in, and it's like, okay, calm down, roll down, roll down. Okay, slow down, slow your rolls. And then it's like, okay, maybe that's not what it is going to be now. This is what the new thing looks like. So I was going to ask you what life was about, what life was about back then and now, and with regards to aligning with purpose, basically.
So life back then was all by the seat of my pants and being a people
Mhm.
pleaser. I followed
Mm.
my friends just about anywhere, and I
Wow,
was
that's
so
interesting.
flexible. I was so flexible and just willing to do anything, not anything, but just about anything.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah.
just exploring, doing the club thing, whatever they wanted to do, I was like, all right, let's do it. That's fine.
I'm
I'm not
down.
doing any, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down. Let's do it. Even though it's not something I really wanted to do. And I think that's so interesting because I'm realizing that now and being honest with myself. One of my friends said, when you turn 30, you just wake up with a light one day, like, no, this, and I
this,
really,
this don't work no way.
yes. And so I feel like I had that light. But the tumor happened when I was 28. So this is a different story. So when I was 28 in the 20s and things, and I was just living for Rachel and the spotlight, if you will, because I was trying out for
Mm.
like Mavericks dancers and other
Oh,
dance
okay.
teams to be in the light. And I was reasoning with God, like, I can do this. I will bring you into this, Lord. Let me do this. And he's like, no. So
Nope.
obviously, no. The tumor is what you get, so you can
Nuh-uh.
see what I need you to see. So,
That's
but
it's fun saying it now. It's fun saying it now, but I can imagine the process wasn't as simple as this, because imagine, having so much. And I think that's one thing that happens to us as Christians. Sometimes we have one plan, but another thing comes in. So basically, the Bible still even talks about it, that man plans, but what would
mm-hmm.
eventually happen is according to what God
Yes,
wants it to be.
yes,
Literally, I
amen.
even still saw that verse today. I can't just remember the verse properly today, but no, but basically that's just what it says. So you're having big plans for yourself. You're saying, hey, I want to do this, I want to do this, and I want to do this. And like you said, God was like, no, as soon as what you get to find out what it really means to live a good life, to really live a life of purpose.
Yes.
A lot of times we just want to enjoy the glamour. We all want to enjoy the glamour of life, but at the end of the day, it's more His will. And that's like my favorite verse in the Bible, right? As of now, or should I say, since I started the podcast, that has been my favorite verse. Matthew chapter 6, verse 10, that says, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven."
Mm, amen.
So a lot of times when these things happen, I'm like, okay, if it is God's will, then definitely it's going to work. Because
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ did the same thing. Jesus Christ was
Mm-hmm.
literally about to go on the cross to be crucified, and he still went to get Timothy and said, "Father, if it's your will, you know what? Just let it happen." So that has been my mantra. So whoever wants to copy that mantra, good luck. You're welcome. So, so it's like that's what it is eventually. So aligning that with purpose has been,
Mm-hmm.
from you wanting to be a dancer, you wanting to be in the light, and now having a different turn. Now, what's the difference now for you? Because obviously, like you said, you have been in the church, you have been a faith, you've been in the faith, you've been a believer. But I imagine that there's that difference now. And what's that difference looking like for you now?
Okay, so also my friends tell me you're different. Like it's not, it's they're like it's a
Mm,
good different, but you're different. And my reasoning changed and my purpose in my mind changed.
mm,
It's not for Rachel anymore. It's for God to be seen. And you know, this just came to my mind when I was younger and I was on different dance teams, you know. I was like, why am I not in the front? I want to be in the front. I want to be seen, you know. But now, when I was recently on like dance ministry, on my dance ministry teams and stuff, like I was in the front, but I'm like, do I really want to be in the front? You
nope.
know, but you know, it's for God's glory. It's a change, but that's an interesting change that came to mind for me because even when I was in dance
Definitely.
ministry as a youth, I was like, why am I not in the front? Like I want to be seen. Let Rachel be seen. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't really necessarily want to be seen anymore. And my favorite compliment used to be how pretty I am. And I'm like, thank you. But now my favorite compliment, like when I speak somewhere, is people say, you know, I saw God in you. I saw Jesus
Hey.
shine through you when you were speaking. And I'm
Mm,
like, thank you, Jesus, because that gives me chills. Like even saying that
that's
to
yeah.
people, or when people tell me, you know, when I speak to you, I feel ministered to. Like that is my
Wow.
goal now. And when I get it, like I have chills right now, like for real, just saying that. That is my goal. And that is the change
Yeah.
I really believe that happened.
Wow. Yeah. That I feel. I believe that's what really everything is about. I believe that's what we're about as Christians. Just to show God, because it says, "Let your light so shine before men that
Mm-hmm.
they may see your good works and
Mm-hmm.
glorify your Father in heaven." So it's not even about us at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are times where you don't want to do some things, but you're like, okay, at the end of the day, who is this going to be in favor of? So
Yeah.
what am I trying to get across? What am I trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm trying to get better as a
Mm-hmm.
person, but at the core of the whole thing, what's the idea? And I think that's where the whole affirmations
Mm-hmm.
come in play, where you remind yourself and affirm to yourself the reason why you do these things, why you're doing what you're doing now. Because I can imagine after a brain tumor, some people would go right out and like, okay, yep, I got saved from that, so let's go again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's different now for you, and it's a whole different experience. And so that's just so interesting to me. And finally, one thing I always say to my guests is, if there is one thing you can say to somebody, it doesn't have to be about even self-worth or resilience, but about anything. If there's one thing you can say to somebody, what would that thing be? Or what would it be?
God first. Go to God
First,
first, no matter
okay?
what. And I sincerely believe in starting every morning with Jesus. I help people with morning
Mm,
routines, and like I tell them, the people who I don't want to shove Jesus down anybody's throat.
people stroke,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I just tell them, you know, I suggest a quiet time every morning to get yourself grounded, get your feet on the floor, and get yourself grounded for the day. But my
Mm.
ultimate suggestion for any and everything is God first.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%, 100%. Because in Him we have our being.
Amen.
Literally, in Him,
Mm-hmm,
in Him we
mm-hmm.
have a being, and nothing can be found. You know that's just profound, point blank. There's nothing else to add to it. I don't even know what to say to it, because that's just that's 100%. You just took the whole words out of my mouth. So I'm like, okay, done. Mic drop, or I don't know if you just dropped the mic now or something. But yeah, it's so awesome, and I
You're welcome.
there we go. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, thank you very much, Rachel, for coming on the episode. And for those who would like to get the book, it is you can get it on our website at rlindsayunlimited.com. That is www.rlindsayunlimited.com. Sorry, I'm just waffling. It's just funny. But if you want to get in touch with her, or you want to connect with her, she's a speaker. So if you want her to come and speak, you can connect with her basically on
Yes.
www.rlindsayunlimited.com. And she has a morning affirmation program, affirmation program, which is which you can call early morning with a dose of Jesus. So if you want to get your prayer up in the morning, if you want to get your mind right with Jesus in the morning, I suggest you go on there. And it doesn't have to be at the time where she does it. You can always go back to it at any time of the day, just to have that grounding faith
Mm-hmm.
again, that reassurance. So I can encourage you to do that. And if this is your first time coming on the podcast, I say, hey, welcome. And if you are one of my family, if you're my family, hey, you know how it is, you know how we work here. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on once again, Rachel. I am honored to have you on. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. And is your
Oh
family
yeah.
coffee people? Are those the coffee people?
You know what it is, yeah? That's interesting that you asked. because we are torn at the moment. There's a war going on. We have coffee people and we have tea people. So the coffee people tend to not talk to the tea people when we meet each other in the corridors or in the living room or wherever. So yeah, it's a little bit of a divide in the house with that. So some people are in my good and some are not so good list. But all the same, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And that's it from me. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.